This show is sponsored in part by Flat Fee Tax Prep and Services, offering quality tax preparation, serving clients nationwide. For more information, visit www.flatfeecreditandtax.com. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Lisa Denae Live starts now, only on Stunner Radio, the heart and soul of the culture.
Hey, everyone. It is Friday night, so you know that means it's time for Lisa Denae Live. So I want to welcome you to the show. I'm doing a new thing this season. This is my third season of Lisa Denae Live, and of course, I'm starting this season without a lot of guests. So, normally on my show, I have guests. I have people come on that I interview. But this season, I decided to start with not that many guests. I'm going to be having guests in the coming weeks. But at this time, I want to take some time to connect with my viewers, the people who have been with me from the beginning, and connect with them in a new way. And that is about living fully. So tonight's show is going to be about, are you living or are you simply just existing? I want to get into that a little bit with you guys. So if you're watching or on YouTube, or if you're listening or you're watching on Facebook, please put a comment of where you're watching from. And if you are listening on a podcast platform of the replay, please let me know where you are listening from. So I want to talk about this. We all go through life. We all go through things in life, but are you really living your life, or are you sleepwalking through life? Are you simply just existing? Are you waking up every day going through the motions, doing the minimal activities with the minimum effort and getting minimum results? Is your life mundane and boring? Do you feel fulfilled? I mean, talk back to me if you're listening. Hey, Senia Garcia, how are you? Listening from Houston, Texas. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking about living over existing. So many of us, we get into this mode of operating to where our life is just, we're going through the motion. And I call it sleepwalking through life. You're not really living. You're simply just existing. You're going through the motions and you're just basically sleepwalking through life. So let's talk about it. We're going to get into it tonight with a little bit of detail of what causes you to not be living. Like you're only existing. But before I do that, throughout this episode, I would like for you to do me a favor. I want you to imagine that tonight, this night, September 9th, 2022 is your last night alive. This is your last night on earth. I want you to walk with me in this just for a moment. Imagine that this is your last night. What would you be doing right now? What would you be eating? Who would you be spending your time with? What would you be thinking about? Would you be thinking about 1978? Would you be thinking about the person that did you wrong in 1982? Chances are you wouldn't. You would be just focused on enjoying your last night on earth. Well, I have a news flash. Some of us, for some people, it is your last night. For some people woke up and they're going about their day today and they will not wake up tomorrow. This is the last day on earth for some people. And the sad part about it is a lot of people don't even know it. And they're spending their days existing and just going through the motions and not living. So if that is you, stay tuned because we're going to continue to talk about what causes you to go through life sleepwalking and not living, but existing. So you might be asking yourself, who are you to tell me? Like, are you living? And I'm going to tell you who I am to tell you. I am a person who spent the majority of my life existing. I was just existing. I was just here. I was going with the motions, going with the flow. I was allowing other people to dictate my life to me. Other people tell me how my life should be. So I know what it's like to simply be existing and not living. So that's where I'm qualified to speak on this topic. I have determined to myself when I turn 50 years old this year, I made up in my mind that I would no longer just exist in my life. And you might think, okay, big deal, but it is a big deal. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you start really living, people don't understand you. People don't really get you because you don't do things that normal people do when you're actually living. Because living is different, baby. It's not doing the same old things. When you're actually living and not just existing, you do things that don't make sense to other people. Because for one thing, you're doing what makes you happy. And you're not concerned with who else cares, who else is worried about how you are living, how you're living. That's how we said it saying, how you living. Some of us are not. So let's get into it. So I broke it down to 3 major reasons why people are existing and not living. And let's start with the first one, a loss of joy. When you have experienced a loss of joy, whether you have just lost it due to trauma, due to circumstances, due to grief, or you have allowed somebody or something to steal your joy, no matter how your joy was lost, a loss of joy will cause you to exist and not live. You will not live your best life or a full life if you have no joy. And I'm going to just go through some things that cause you to have a loss of joy. And you will be surprised. But social media engagement can cause a loss of joy. You can literally scroll your joy away on social media. When you are looking at all the stuff that's going on social media, after a while, you start feeling some type of way. You feel heavy. You get this heaviness in your spirit and your joy is gone. So sometimes you have to log off of social media. You have to get off of the timelines, get off social media, because social media is one of those things that can slowly but surely steal your joy. Now, I love social media. I've met some wonderful people. It's a platform that I use for my show and for my business. But what I can tell you is that if you're not careful, social media will cause a loss of joy. So you really have to be tuned in with yourself so that you don't lose your joy. A loss of joy is one of the biggest ways to be existing and not living. Let's talk about another reason why you could be losing your joy. Comparison. Comparing yourselves to others. This happens a lot when you're on social media. This happens a lot when you are scrolling. When you're on social media and you're scrolling and you're trying to see what other people are doing and you're seeing everybody's happy, everybody got a man, everybody traveling, everybody living their best life, and then you begin to judge yourself. You begin to compare their life to your life, and that will definitely cause a loss of joy, because I'm going to tell you right now, everything on social media is not real. It's a lot of people on social media faking the funk. As T-Baby say, some fake funkers. They on social media faking the funk. It's a lot of people that are not happy. So that is a big deal. Comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others will cause you to have a loss of joy, because you're looking at their life and saying, why can't my business flourish like that? Why can't my husband love me like that? Why don't my kids take me out the country? Why don't my job promote me? When it's your life that you need to be focused on, instead of comparing yourself to others, because that comparison will continue to cause a loss of joy. Another thing that will have you to have a loss of joy and will cause you to exist and not live is unresolved conflict. I'm telling you, some of us is carrying around some things that need to really be resolved. Some conflict with people, some conflict with family members, with situations, people that you see every day, and you have unresolved conflict with them. When it's easy to just either resolve the situation or work through it and let it go, because unresolved conflict can cause your joy to go away and you'll have a loss of joy. And at the same time, you're thinking you're living, but you're not. You're just existing, because you can't find joy in nothing. You try to find joy in shopping, you can't shop enough. You try to find joy in eating, you just can't eat enough. You just want more and more and more. You don't find joy in anything. That's when you know you're not living. You are simply just existing. When you wake up in the morning, you should just have joy because you're here. You are here. That is a reason enough to have joy. But as soon as you start comparing your life to other people, as soon as you start comparing your business and your friendships and your relationship to other people's, it causes you to lose your joy. And the sad part about it is you don't really know what their life is like. Everybody on TikTok happy. They got a happy marriage. I'm addicted to the couples on TikTok myself because all their marriages look amazing. They look very, very happy. But it's social media, okay? You see what they want you to see. You don't know what it's like for real. And as long as you have breath in your body, you can determine whether or not you're going to be happy because happiness is a choice. So loss of joy will definitely cause you to be existing and not living. Another reason for a loss of joy is comparing. Well, we talked about comparing yourself, but self-doubt. Because when you have self-doubt, that will lead to you comparing yourself to others. You know, you might find it strange, but a lot of people compare themselves to strangers, people they don't even much know. They're looking at them and saying, wow, they're better than me. They got this more than me. You don't know those people. You don't really know what's really real. You don't know. So you can't allow comparisons to cause you to lose your joy. Now, since we're talking about a loss of joy, I want to talk about some things that can help you to regain your joy. And some of the things that you can do is just think about where you've been and where you want to be. Loss of joy can be resolved. You can get your joy back. Hey, Kathy, thank you so much for tuning in. She says, nobody knows other people's real situation. That is so true. You might be comparing your situation to something that's not even real, an arranged marriage, as far as you know. But let me talk about how to get your joy back. When you focus on your own life and your own situation and your own mindset and your own path, that's how you can start to get your joy back. You have to focus. And again, sometimes you might have to turn social media off. Sometimes you have to get you a journal and just start writing about your life and where you've been. Because when you look at back from where you once were, baby, you can't help but have joy. Because I don't know about you, but I have come a mighty, mighty long way. So I wake up with joy because, baby, I'm still here. I'm still able. I got the activity of my limbs. All you got to do is look around you. There are so many people who would love to be in your shoes. So let's work on getting our joy back. I want to talk real quick before I take a short break about another reason why you could be existing and not living. And that is a loss of peace. Now, let me just speak on this because peace is the principal thing that you want in life. If you ain't got nothing else, you want to have peace. And we live in a society that is constantly trying to steal your peace. Everything around you is trying to disturb your peace, trying to take your peace, steal your peace. But peace is something that you can have and you can preserve, again, by doing some of the things I mentioned before. But if you are unaware, you're unaware of what peace is, that's the key right there of why you have a life that you're not enjoying, that you're just existing in. Now, let me talk to you about what peace is. The Bible talks about peace that passes understanding. I'm going to break that down to you because peace that passes understanding means you don't even know why you got peace in a situation. You could be getting a bill. You have no idea how you're going to pay it, but you ain't even much worried about it. You got peace. You're okay. You're not stressed. You feel good. You're just happy and blessed. You have peace. And that is what we all want. You know, when somebody lie on you, that is one of the main ways that can disturb your peace. Turn their back on you, switch up on you, act funny with you, don't support you. I'm gonna put a whole sermon on lack of support. But when you have peace, you don't care who supports you, who don't, who talk to you, who don't, who watch your show and who don't, who text you, call you, take you to lunch, and who don't. That is why a loss of peace is one of the biggest reasons why people are not living. When you lose your peace, you got to work hard to get your peace back. And one of the biggest ways of losing your peace is being around people who don't have no peace. Have you ever been around somebody, every conversation you have with them is a complaint about something? And you think, damn, they ain't never happy. It doesn't matter what it is. They complaining. They don't have no peace. When you encounter people like that, you need to push them away. Get them out your space. Because see, their lack of peace will disturb your peace. And before you know it, you complain about everything too. Hey, Thelma, how you doing? We're talking about living instead of just existing. And I'm talking about one of the ways that will have you in that state is when you don't have any peace, a loss of peace. And I can tell you, when you get around people who don't have peace, I know a couple people, I'm not going to call their name, but I don't even much like to see them coming, because I know they're going to be complaining about something. They got some kind of complaint, some kind of issue with somebody. It's always something going on that they're not happy with. And it disturbs me. And they don't want a solution. They don't want an answer to their problem. They don't want to fix things. They just want to rant and rave and go on and on about whatever, whoever. And that is because they don't have no peace in their life. But what we have to do, those of us that are trying to really live and not just exist, you have to be vigilant about when people are in your presence and they ain't got no peace, you can't be there. You have to separate yourself from people who don't have peace, because they will disturb and disrupt and, take away from your peace. So you got to be vigilant. You got to be vigilant about your peace. Another thing that can disturb your peace is perfectionism. This is big for me. When you feel like everything just got to be perfect, you got to pray for yourself in those type of situations, because you have no peace. You're never going to be happy when you have this thing about where this ain't right and that ain't right. Well, I wanted to do my business. I didn't have this right. My show started late. I only had 2 or 3 people watching. So what? Have peace with it, because I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of people who started something and it didn't take off till 10, 15 years after they started it, but it took off because they kept going. So have peace with whatever it is. I recall learning the lyrics to this song called "It Is Well With My Soul." I learned the lyrics to this song because my grandfather died and I had no peace. He was special and important to me. But the song said, whatever my lot, God has taught me to say it is well. It is well with my soul. And that's how I live, because when things happen that are outside of your control, you have to command peace. You have to command peace in that situation, because as long as you're alive, as long as you got breath in your body, just be at peace. Be at peace. And I think that sometimes as Black people, we underestimate how disturbing the lack of peace can be. When you get around people who their family always arguing, always bickering, baby, their life ain't good at all, because they don't know peace. They don't know nothing about peace. They couldn't tell you the first thing about peace. So you have to be, like I said, once again, vigilant. Be strong in the fact that I need peace. And I'm going to just briefly talk about some of the signs that you have no peace and some of the ways that you can get your peace back. Here's some signs that you have no peace. When you are so caught up in a situation, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't focus on nothing but that situation. Even if it's a situation that is happening good for you, it should not disturb your peace. Because see, what happens is sometimes when something good happens, you are already worried about losing it. You're already worried about, oh, this is good, but is it real? Am I going to lose this? Is something going to happen? That is the disturbance of your peace. No matter what it is, just be at peace with it. If you come into a good opportunity, if you meet someone that you feel good about, don't let it disturb your peace, because whether it's one day or 100 days, just enjoy it for whatever it is. If it's long term, short term, enjoy it and be at peace, because that's how we unknowingly disturb our own peace. about worrying about how long is this going to last? Is this real? Am I going to be able to maintain this? Even with a new job, even with, like I said, new relationships, new opportunities. Don't let nothing disturb your peace, especially not another human being. So we talked about loss of joy, loss of peace. Now, this one right here, I saved this one for last because this is a big one. Oh my God. This is a big one. So I'm going to take a little more time on this next reason for existing and not living is a loss of love. And I really, really, really need to take some time on this one. So I'm going to take a really quick break, you guys, and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. It's Lisa Denae Live right here on Stunner Radio, and we will be right back.
Introducing Stunner Magazine, a lifestyle publication and companion to Stunner Radio's weekly broadcasts. Stunner Magazine features positive images of the Black community and inspiring stories to uplift and entertain. With our Artist Spotlight and Stunner of the Month, we strive to introduce you to the most intriguing rising stars in music, fashion, and beauty. Check out our September edition, available now, exclusively on Issue. If you're looking for custom handcrafted fashion jewelry that makes a statement, look no further than Linda S. Jewelry, 1426. We specialize in quality pieces fit for any occasion. Follow us on Facebook at Linda S. Jewelry 1426 to view our inventory or to make a purchase. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Hey, we are back. It is Lisa Denae Live. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for my second episode of my third season. And tonight I am talking about, are you living or existing? And so just a brief recap. We talked about what causes you to be in a state of just existing. And a lot of that is, like I said, a loss of joy, a loss of peace. And then we're going to get into the next one that I really want to talk about tonight is a loss of love. A loss of love will cause you to not live, just exist. So I want to talk. So we know that you can love people, places, and things, what we call in American English, nouns. So we're going to talk about those nouns tonight when we talk about the loss of love, people, places, and things. So let's start with people. When you talk about a loss of love, I really want to start with yourself, because this is the big one. And this is one of the biggest reasons why people are existing and not living, a loss of love for themselves. So this is huge. Once you grasp this, you will be able to live your life and really live and not just exist. So a loss of love of self. So we as human beings, like I said earlier in the broadcast, sometimes we compare ourselves to other people. That causes you to find flaws in your own self. That causes you to feel like, I'm not who I should be. I'm not where I should be. I'm not the best looking. I don't have the best car. I don't have the best finances. My business is not doing as much as I wanted to do. And so that causes you to lose love for yourself. But let me just let you know that once you gain that love for self, there is nothing that can stop you from living. People in society, social media, advertising, broadcasting, just like what we're doing, shows, books, commercials, music. It's so many things that will teach you to hate yourself. And as Black people, we deal a lot with self-hatred. We deal with self-hatred and things as small as how our nose is made, how our hair is, how big and juicy our thighs is. And we have these issues a lot of times because it started young. People will tell you at a young age, you big. People tell you at a young age, you got a big mouth, big nose, big head, your big booty, or you're dark. It's so many things that people will put on you to cause you not to love yourself. And I'm gonna tell you why I laugh, because I remember being a child and being told you talk too much. Well, it's working for me now. It's working for me. I was put on the earth to talk. Okay. So had I not gone on my own self-love journey and learned how to love me for me, I probably would have stopped talking. I probably would have said, you know what? I don't like how much I talk. I talk too much. But baby, that's who I am and that's what I'm here to do. And I hope there's something I say will help you on your journey to self-love. I wrote a journal called the Self-Love Journal, and you can pick it up on Amazon. And the reason why I wrote this journal is because this is how I struggled. This is how I got back from my struggle of self-love. I went outside myself. I took a moment to step outside of myself and view myself as if I was looking at someone else. And every day that I would do that, I would write about what I observed. And as I looked at myself as if I was looking at someone else, I noticed that I was a bad mother. I was bad, baby. I was a tough cookie, resilient, just determined, loving, and kind. Just the things that I would do naturally was just amazing to me. But I had to step outside of myself. I had to look at myself, not from the lens of my childhood where everything I did was bad or wrong or too much, but from a fresh lens. I just looked at myself as if I was looking at someone else. And if you would, take some time this week to do that. Step outside of yourself and just pretend that you're someone else and just observe yourself. Just go through your day, everything that happened, the events of the day, and observe yourself as an outsider. And you will see, you'll see that some of the things you think about yourself are not correct. And you have to unlearn those things to gain back the love for yourself. A loss of love of self is like a slow death. When you don't love yourself, you cannot process anything properly. When someone tells you, they could be giving you constructive criticism. All you hear is, you're bad, you're not good, you're wrong. And that's not even what they're saying. And even a loss of love will cause you to hear things in reverse as well. When someone is saying, you wrong, you ugly, you big, oh, they love me. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, what? Incorrect. So you have to look at the loss of love for self as if it is an emergency situation. If you are struggling with self-love, take some time to resolve that, because it is an emergency. Because the lack of love for yourself, I'm telling you, has caused a lot of problems in your life. You're always looking for somebody to love you when you don't love yourself. And nobody, and I mean nobody, can love you like you can love yourself. Now, I'm talking because I've been there. I had an issue with self-love and self-worth. And once I learned how to love myself and I learned how to embrace me and get to know myself and not be disconnected from who I am, that was the best thing I could have done for myself. And that caused me to learn how to live and not just exist. Love for myself. And I know a lot of people preach it. Self-love. You can't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. But as much as we hear it as people, so many people don't know how to do it. So many people don't have it. So I hope to help somebody today. Please, if you know that you are struggling with self-love, put in the work, put in the effort to overcome it, because it is not natural. The loss of love can be corrected. You can fall in love with you, but you got to learn how to look at you from fresh eyes. Some of us have been giving the sight of someone else. So you're looking at yourself with the eyes of your mother, the eyes of your father, the eyes of the neighbor who used to say you was ugly, or the eyes of the teacher who said you was bad. You're looking at yourself through those lenses. And that causes you over time to just not love yourself, to be very critical of yourself. But when you just step outside of all of that, unlearn all of that, and just look at yourself. Just take a moment and look at yourself, the things that you've overcome, the things that you've accomplished, the things that you've done for people without being asked, the things that you do naturally, your creative ability, your insight on situations. You will learn to really realize, damn, I'm the bomb. I'm somebody, okay? I am somebody to love. And so once you get that, that's the road. That's the first step on regaining love. Because like I said, when we talk about loss of love, I'm going to spend a little more time on this, because we can have love of people, places, and things. So now I'm talking about the loss of love for people. Now, we talked about the loss of love for yourself. Let's talk about the loss of love for others. Oh my God. So the Bible said, the love of many shall wax cold. And so I read that as a kid and I was like, what the hell do that mean? The love of many shall wax cold. I thought if you love somebody, you love them. No. Your love can't go away. Your love can wax cold. Misuse of love. Come on, I felt that one in my belly. The misuse of your love can cause your love to wax cold. And so who's to blame for that? Nobody really to blame, but we can be accountable when people misuse your love. Get away from them. You have the power. I don't care who it is. If you are an adult, you can separate yourself from anybody. And I mean anybody. Because the misuse and abuse of your love will cause your love to wax cold. And before you know it, it's hard for you to love people. You can't even love people. You try to show love. You want to fall in love. You want to feel love. But when your love wax cold, when you lose that love and that loving nature, that's a slow death as well. You don't want that. You want to be free to love. And so many of us, because we have experienced people using and abusing and misusing our love, we don't know how to love anymore. We want love. A lot of us are looking for love, but when you find it, will you accept it? When somebody is genuinely trying to love you, will you know how to receive it? Will you be able to love them back in a healthy way? So that's something that goes back to the unresolved conflict. Unresolved conflict in the area of giving love away and giving love and being loving to people will cause a loss of love in your life. And we are so, as human beings, all you got to do is go on a dating site. That's all you got to do is go on one dating site and you will get some insight on how many lonely people there are in this world. So many people want to be loved and there's so many people in the world. Why can't we find, you would think if it's millions of people in the world and millions of people are lonely, what the hell's going on? If everybody want love and everybody here, well, why we don't have it? Loss of love is serious because once you experience that abuse in your love, you don't know how to give it. You don't know how to receive it. It's just, you're lost. That loss of love will cause you to just go through life existing. But I want to encourage you to embrace love. Embrace it. I don't care if it's a stranger. If you have a feeling of love for somebody, I don't care if it's a celebrity. I love Beyonce, baby, embrace it. You got to start somewhere. Start somewhere. Embrace the love in your children. And when I say embrace it, I mean put in some effort to show it. Don't just wait until somebody is gone. Take time to do something special for somebody that you love. That's going to help your love to grow because love is like anything else. The more you use it, the more you get. The more you add to it, the more it multiplies. The more you have, the more you receive. And the more you give, the more you get back. So if you want to remedy this loss of love, just start somewhere. Start in your home. We've already talked about starting with yourself. Now, when you want to give love or receive love from people, you got to give it first. Start somewhere. Call somebody tonight. Call somebody today and tell them, I love you. I love you. And not that, love you. No, I love you. And tell them why you love them. That's going to free you and that's going to release something in you that's going to cause you to be able to receive more love. And don't be afraid of love. Love is real and love is good. So we're talking about the loss of love. So now I'm going to move on from the loss of love of people. Talk about the loss of love of places. Now this is big. And I think this is really big for Black people because, a lot of us know that African Americans, Black people, Black Americans, whatever you want to call us, we feel sometimes like we're strangers in our own country. We feel like sometimes we are not welcome in a place of our birth. You can lose love for a place. You could lose love for the beauty of a place. Have you ever rode around your city and you just ride around, you don't see nothing, you don't see anything. But then somebody comes to visit and they start pointing out stuff. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, then you're like, wow, I didn't even realize that was there. What is that? You didn't roll past it 12 times. You didn't roll past it 11 times. and you have not even noticed it, because that's a loss of love when you become complacent with something. And when you have to live in a place and you lose the love for that place, let me tell you, it may not seem like it affects your life, but it does. And you'll find yourself just existing. But when you love your city, when you love the place where you live, when you love your house, when you like your job, I ain't gonna say love, but when you love your surroundings, it helps you to live and not just exist. When you go out into your community, you should have love for the place you live. If you don't, it's time to move. It's time to move. It's time to move. And a lot of times we have not been taught that. We should love the place that we are. Find out. And you know, one thing that it surprised me about Houston, I've met so many people in Houston that have never been on the other side of Houston from what side they live on. I'm like, well, no wonder you're not really living. You're just existing. You haven't even experienced your city that you've been in for 30, 40, 50 years. You haven't even fully experienced it. You lost the love for your the place where you are. And the sad part is some of us don't even think that's important. Why I gotta love it? I'm here. Well, you could literally live somewhere where you love. You could live in a city that you love, and you can't wait to walk out your door. You can't wait to go experience the sights and the sounds and the smells of your city. If you're not feeling that, it's time for you to move. You need to move. There is some place for you that you can love. And I'm telling you, the loss of love will cause you to be existing and not living. If you live in Houston and if you don't love Houston, move. If you live in Chicago and you don't love Chicago, move. You need to be somewhere that you love. The loss of love. We talked about people and places. And let me go back to places, because how many live in a place you don't love? How many live in a house that you don't love? Let's talk about that. Put some time into your living arrangement. Put some time into where you live so that you can love your house, love your apartment, love your bedroom. Come on, it's some simple things that we can do to bring back the love of our place. I mean, if your bedroom look drab and dull and boring, and if you get physically ill when you go home, there's something wrong. You don't love where you live. So it's time for you to move, redecorate, refurbish, whatever you need to do. Make your surroundings a place that you love to be. Because if it's not, you're going to start sleepwalking. You're going to tune out your surroundings because you don't love it. So I don't care if it's fresh flowers, put some in your house. I don't care if you got to get new curtains, get some. A new bedspread, something that you love needs to be in your environment, in your home. Put some time into it. And if you don't have the money, reach out to people and let them know, you know what I like? I like these curtains I seen on Amazon, and I got it on my wish list, and it's public. You want to get me some? There it is. But it's the effort that you have to put in to live and not exist. I live like this. So when I find myself, and people who know me, who have lived with me, they gonna let you know. She changed around rooms more than anybody I know. They get irritated because when they come home, the whole house different. They're like, oh my God, how many times you gonna change this room around? Because for me, I gotta love it. I'm sorry. I can't be somewhere where I don't love, because I can feel when my spirit is affected. It affects my spirit. If I don't love the way my house looks or feels, it affects my spirit, and my spirit will go into hibernation. And here I am sleepwalking again. And a lot of y'all sleepwalking, and you're not living, you're existing. So this is a very simple thing you can do. Refresh your living room, refresh your bedroom, start with your closet. And you know what? What's even more simple? Start with your car. If you don't love the way your car look or smell, that's simple. You can just go and refresh your car, get a new car, fix it up, do something, because let me tell you, it is affecting you. Even something that small, it affects you. Every time you get in that car, you may not know it, but every time you get in that car and it's not what you love and it's not giving you what you need, it affects your spirit. That's the loss of love. So we're talking about the loss of love of people, places, and things. Now we're getting to things. And the things that surround you every day, they will tell you, if somebody comes to redecorate your house, they will let you know. If you don't love it, get rid of it. If you don't love it, get rid of it. If you love it, you don't need it. And you might think that's frivolous, but you have to understand that it's slowly but surely taking away your joy if you don't love the way your house look or feel. For me, if I see something that I absolutely love in the store, I don't care if it's a candle, it's something simple as a candle, I got to have it. I got to have my surroundings filled with things that I love. And some of us, we just in survival mode so much that we'll accept things from people. Oh, girl, I'm gonna give you this couch that I don't need. If you need a couch, you're gonna take it. Okay, if you need a couch, take it temporarily. But if you don't love it, move on from that. Because now you got a whole bunch of secondhand piece mismatch stuff in your environment. How can you love that? You don't love it. And believe me, it will affect the way you feel about yourself. It will affect your life. You won't feel like you're living, and you won't feel alive. So please, ma'am, and please, sir, let's deal with this loss of love. And I just want to say, before I go for a break and come back for my wrap up, I want to say this. A loss of anything can happen for many reasons. You can lose it from just a grief, different stages in your life, or it can be stolen from you. But one thing about a loss, some things that are lost can be regained. So don't be discouraged if you have a loss of love, a loss of joy, a loss of peace. At least you are in a point where you can recognize it and you can resolve it. You can work forward. You can work on it so that you can resolve it. Because believe me, when I crossed over from existing to living, it is amazing. Sometimes every fiber in my body, every cell in my body feels electric because I'm just so happy to be alive. I feel so good sometimes in my body. And of course, I can't share that with everybody. They're like, well, what you feel good for? You ain't got the car you want, the house you want, the job you want, the money you want, the business you want. No, I don't. But I have so much joy, so much peace, and so much love for myself. And I know that I'm going to attract love. Hey, future husband. I know you out there. Yes. And if you're listening, go holler at your girl. I know you coming, baby. I'm attracting you. Come on, future. Hey. But anyway, I done got off track. What I was talking about of loss can be restored. So my prayer for you today and tonight and for this episode is that you experience a restoration that will cross you from that space of existing into living. And then you and I can talk about how good it feels when your whole body feels like it's electric pulses surging through it. When your whole body feels like you are alive, like it's a feeling that I can't explain, but I really wish I could hand it out to everybody. But I know how you can get there. And that's why I'm doing this show. You can get there by restoring your joy, restoring your peace, and restoring your love. I really, really, really hope that you have enjoyed this episode. I am going to be back. I'm going to take a really quick break and I'm going to come back and talk to you about what's coming up in future episodes and a little bit about Stunner Media and Entertainment. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be right back.
If you live in Houston and surrounding areas and are in need of quality childcare, contact Cuckoo's Treasures today. We provide professional childcare in a caring and nurturing environment. Do you work second or third shift or don't have a typical schedule? Cuckoo's Treasures can assist you. We're open 24 hours and some weekends. Give us a call today at 346-313-9064. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
I hate you, but I love you at the same damn time.
Hey, it's your girl Lisa Denae, and you're listening to my single Love Hate, available now on all music platforms.
Nights you stray, the words you say, I just can't make up my mind. Sometimes I think I hate you, but I love you at the same damn time.
Hey, I'm back. I Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, for listening, for interacting, and for being a part of this episode and talking about living instead of existing. Listen, I have enjoyed the show myself. I have really encouraged myself. Every day I work harder and harder on living and not just existing. So if you are experiencing a transition where you're starting to feel that momentum of you live and like that electric that I was talking about, like when you get up in the morning, you just want to jump and shout and sing, and you're just so happy. Reach out to me. Let's talk, because I can relate. And unfortunately, I don't know a lot of other people who are doing it. So let's talk. I love hearing from other people who are experiencing the same thing, because listen, everything around me could be going straight to hell. But guess what? I feel so good. I just be so happy because I have literally crossed over. I'm gone from that existing life. I'm living every moment, and every moment feels good, and it's full with love, and it's full with joy. Now, I will say this, there are moments when I feel my love and my joy slipping away, and my hope and my peace, and I reevaluate in that very moment. Who am I around? What am I watching? What am I listening to? What am I engaging in? Because whatever it is not worth this experience that I'm having of living. I will never go back to just existing. I can't do it, and I won't do it. So I'm always purging my life, my contacts, my timeline, my circle. I purge. And people who know me in real life, they know that. They know that if something ain't right, I will get the hell away from it. I will remove myself, because I can't risk my peace and my joy and my happiness and my love. I have come too far in it, and it feels so amazing to live. I mean, and one thing I want to say about living and not existing, it doesn't even matter what your circumstance is. It doesn't matter. Like, I could literally be living under a bridge right now. I mean, Lord knows I don't want to. But if I was, I'd just be living under that bridge, watching people go by, eating my Popeyes or whatever I can afford, and just living. Baby, I ain't gonna sit up here and cry or whatever. I'm gonna live, because this is a gift. Life is a wonderful and a beautiful gift. Don't get caught up in the madness. Don't get caught up in the chaos. Seek love, seek joy, seek peace. And whatever you are going through, if it's still in your joy, if it's still in your love, and if it's robbing you of your peace, disengage from it. Get away from it, disconnect, get away from those people, those places, and those things that are causing you to simply exist when God has blessed you with a life that you can fully live. Fully. I'm telling you, when you live in fully, baby, everything's better. Everything feel good. It's almost like what they say ecstasy is like. No, I ain't never tried it, but I feel like I know what it's like, Molly or whatever they call it. Everything feel good. You just could be rubbing on yourself, and you just like, oh. That's how I feel every day. And I want to share that with you. I want you to have that, but you got to have those components, that love, that joy, that peace. You got to have it. And you cannot let these love, joy, and peace robbers invade your life. You got to get rid of them. I don't care who it is. I don't care who the person is, what the place is, or what the thing is. You got to be vigilant if you want to live and not just exist. I really, really hope you have enjoyed this episode, because I have. I want to talk to you really briefly about what's coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday, September 10th, and we are going to be Survival Mode Disengaged. Is going to be here on Stunner Radio. Check out the YouTube channel. Please subscribe and like the show. Survival Mode Disengaged is all about teaching you about being financially empowered, coming out of survival mode so that you can live. Now it's time to live. You survived, you made it. Now it's time to live. That is hosted by none other than Miss Cat, the one and only Miss Cat of Houston, Texas, baby. And at 7 o'clock, and that's 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Please tune in. You can always catch the replay also. At 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time is going to be Black Coffee with a Side of Tea, hosted by Zoe Raz, T baby, and yours truly, Lisa Denae. So you want to tune into that because baby, we be spilling all the tea, and we talking about friendship breakups. That's a big one, y'all. Because some of these friendship breakups can hurt worse than a relationship, romantic relationship breakup. When you've been friends with somebody since you was a little girl, and then y'all done fell out over a girl. It can literally break your heart. So tune into Black Coffee with a Side of Tea. We're gonna be talking about friendship breakups. Oh my God, it's gonna be good. That's 7:00 p.m. Central Time on Stunner Radio, YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. Sunday is the return, the season premiere of the Kathy Brooks Show. Now you got to get ready to be inspired because Kathy is talking about your spirit, soul, and body. She's trying to get you to be in alignment. She's trying to help you to live your best life. So you really want to tune into the Kathy Brooks Show. And also, please follow Kathy Brooks on the Kathy Brooks Show on Instagram. Follow Black Coffee with a Side of Tea on Instagram. It is at Black Coffee with a Side of Tea. And follow Miss Cat on Instagram at Miss Cat TV for Survival Mode Disengage. We have some really wonderful shows coming up for the rest of this weekend. Now, I want to talk about last night. I was a guest on the Golden Square podcast. Please, if you have not watched the Golden Square podcast, head on over to Facebook, or you can just be right here on our YouTube channel and scroll up, baby. The Golden Square podcast is it. And last night, Thursday, we were talking about surviving domestic violence. So if you want to hear a little bit about my story and how I overcame being a victim and turned into a survivor of domestic violence, you can check it out on the Golden Square podcast. Remember, please follow us on Facebook at Stunner Radio, on YouTube at Stunner Radio. Also, follow our magazine on Facebook at Stunner Magazine and on Instagram at Official Stunner Magazine. If you're watching this on YouTube, I thank you and I love you for it. Please subscribe and share. If you're watching on Facebook, please, ma'am, and please, sir, and please, all those who are neither, and you non-binary, non-gender conforming, I'm trying to get these terms right. Please like, share, and subscribe as well. So that's it for me, guys. I'm out of time, and I have thoroughly enjoyed this episode. Next week, I'm going to be delving in and diving into a little bit of domestic violence and talking about how to overcome trauma associated with abuse. And that is a big one for anybody who knows anyone who's been a victim of abusive situation, abusive relationship. There is lots of trauma associated with that. So we're going to talk next week about overcoming that trauma. Until then, you guys be blessed. I love you for watching, and I will see you next week.